Hello, everybody, and welcome to the next episode in our series, Keelloo Talk, Episode 6, with, of course, your host, Keelloo. And today we're going to be talking about these three topics: my music preferences, my thoughts on the current technology advancement, and the anime merch site slash store, Suruga-Ya. So at this point, let me just say that I acknowledge that the topics from here on out are going to be kind of random in nature. Um, it's kind of hard for me to come up with anything that's cohesive to talk about, like in the same general area. So just kind of accept that. Sorry. um, but regardless of that, um, without further ado, let's get started. So first, we're going to be talking about music. Um, Music is a weird one for me because my tastes have changed so much over the years. When I first started getting into any music of any kind, I was really into stuff like classic rock bands like Led Zeppelin or the Rolling Stones or not the Beatles, but you get the point. Classic rock was kind of my thing for a long time. I mean, here's some trivia about me. I even played the guitar for a while. This was many, many years ago, but uh, that was what kind of inspired me to start trying to get decent at the guitar, the electric guitar. And I was okay at the guitar, just as an aside here. I was decent at it. I couldn't actually read music or anything, but I could read these things called tabs, um, which are basically just, you know, it shows you the string and the fret number. And then you listen to the song and then you try to recreate it as best as you can, which obviously isn't going to happen. To the degree that you want it to happen. But that was kind of a thing for a while. I haven't played guitar in what I want to say it's been 5, 6 years. But yeah, that was kind of my origins with music. Before then, I didn't really touch much music when I was way younger than that. Before I was a teenager, I really ignored a lot of the popular music, which was, at the time that I got interested, pop. I just was never, ever interested in any of it. It all just felt, plastic and scripted and way over auto-tuned for me. So, as hipster as it may have seemed, I was just a classic rock guy. Led Zeppelin was my favorite band for many many years. You know, I still think "Stairway to Heaven" is a fantastic song. I think the guitar solo is a bit overrated, as some say is one of the best guitar solos of all time. But looking back, right now, I think it's really overrated because after listening to a lot of other music, I think, what the hell? Yeah, Jimmy Page does a hell of a job doing what he's supposed to do, but damn, this guitar solo is really overrated and not even close to what people make it out to be. So that was my previous taste. Classic rock, maybe alternative rock, but these days it's a lot different. As I've mentioned in other episodes, it should be obvious at this point. Um, I'm really into visual novel and anime music. Uh, Visual novel OPs and EDs, openings and endings, are, they can be fantastic. They can be just, they put this much effort into the opening or the ending for this piece of fiction, this visual novel. And that caught my attention a lot. In the last episode, I talked about Sakura no Uta, and as I mentioned, Sakura no Uta is one of my favorite songs of all time. I think it's just one of the most beautiful pieces of whatever you want to call it, music that I've ever heard. So it's a really weird contrast. I mean, I've heard a lot of rock style anime stuff, but that never caught on to me as much as the more thematic themes, as like Sakura no Uta, for example, or another one, Sora Okoete from Aonokon for. So that's kind of what I'm into now. I listen to a lot of visual novel slash OP, or, excuse me, visual novel OP slash EDs. They've just kind of grabbed onto me, and I can't get away from them because they're just so clean sounding, and I think the VAs that they pick are just incredible. That's kind of what I kind of look for right now. I could talk about a ton of other VN OP artists, but this topic is getting a little bit long, but I'll just leave off with a few artists that are in the kind of anime slash visual novel area. Shimotsuki Haruka, Yuikonu Hana, um, who else? I'll just say those three, because those three are my favorites. Anyway, we should probably just move on to the next topic before this gets too long and ranty. Technology. So, technology has been advancing at a really, really incredible rate. Because when I was younger, I had no idea that we would be where we are in terms of technology, where we are today. There is no way I would expect that. I still remember like Windows 96, the really old ass Windows systems where everything was slow as fuck. The really old games that were bundled with them, um, and overall just how Windows functioned back then. And in terms of, okay, let's go to phones. Oh my god. Uh, the first phone I got was a flip phone. And this was when I was probably 13, 12, 13. Uh, it was, at the time, just amazing to me. Like, I finally have a phone. But looking back, it was a piece of trash. Because, currently I have a Galaxy S9, and comparing those two is just impossible because of the huge technology advancements. You know, I've kind of fucked up my S9 in a way because I've dropped it a couple times, and don't use a case and am a retard with it in general. But that flip phone, that flip phone was just I can't even I can't even put words into it how terrible it was. And then my next phone was it looked like a BlackBerry. And if you're young enough to remember, or old enough to remember, excuse me, what a BlackBerry looked like, it it was a better. It wasn't a flip phone. It had a screen and a bunch of keys below it. So it was one piece of you know, whatever. It didn't have something you flip up, and at the time that was really it was a huge deal. So that was my next phone. It was this like crimson colored BlackBerry-esque phone, and I still have that. I actually still have that in the drawer. Obviously it's dead and everything, but I thought that was a cool phone for a long time. And after that, I got the old Samsung S. Like I think my first was the S3, which looking back was crazy because it was so slow and I had no idea how to use a touch phone because it was such new technology to me. I mean, obviously now it's like bread and butter, but back then it was just insane to me that, oh hey, you can have this crazy technology and just use it with your hand and not have to deal with keys. And if you did have to deal with keys, you could even just swipe. Yeah, I'm feeling old as hell right now. But that's the phone that I've been with for a really long time. Um, like I said, right now I have an S9. Previously I had an S6. And then the 3 was the previous one. So I've gone through 3 phones from Samsung S. Um, and my family is all on Samsung S's. So I really love the phone design that they have. I think they've done a pretty good job at adapting to uh, the Android model, and keeping up with the current technology advancements. Their obvious competition is Apple, for example, the iPhone, which I've never been a fan of personally, but um, I really do think they've done a great job at kind of advancing what the mobile market is trying to do. And I think the last piece of tech I'll talk about is computers. I mentioned this a while back, but like I mentioned, we had Windows 96, but computers have been advancing so fast. It's crazy. It's absolutely insane how fast things have been, advancing. And personally, I can't keep up with it. I'm pretty much tech clueless when it comes to the more high-end stuff. And if I were to have to get a new computer, it would be very hard for me. So, currently I have a Dell G715, I want to say it is. That's a laptop. And once I got it up to par, I got it up to like high performance and everything, it blew my mind how much better it ran than my previous 2 computers. Like, where are we going to be in a couple years? Or even 5 years, 10 years? This kind of computer is going to be like $200. And then we're going to have these even more high-end computers that couldn't be imaginable today at, the high-end spectrum. And that is just insane to me. Because my brother has a fairly decent a desktop that runs things pretty well. And at the time he bought it, it was like, I want to say $1,000. And I mean, I don't have any huge estimates because I'm not really much of a tech guy. But today, I would probably say it'd be worth a fraction of the price, 700, 600 even dollars. I'd have to ask my cousin who helped him put it together, but god damn, technology is advancing way too fast. Like I'm probably just getting too old, but back when I was a kid, you couldn't possibly imagine that this kind of stuff would be remotely reasonably priced or even possible. But today it's the norm. And that is both wonderful to me and insane to me. I never thought that we'd get to this point where things could be so technologically advanced and somewhat reasonable in price. Some things are, some things aren't, but you get the idea. Alright, so I think we should probably move on to the last topic, which is kind of a random one, but as most of these videos are. The online store, anime merch store, Suruga-Ya. So, in the first video, I talked a lot about anime markets and stores and who offers what and blah blah blah. But Suruga-Ya is a really underrated one. It was one that I didn't find for quite a long time. And the reason for that is they're not super well known when you're first starting out. Like, people don't recommend right out the ass, oh yeah, you should totally check out Suruga-Ya. It's one of those sites that I feel you have to find. And that's kind of a pain, but it's just one of those places that I feel it is for a reason. Suruga-Ya isn't one of those places that you can just, buy easily from. You have to use one of these entities called a proxy or a forwarder to get the stuff, and then the site's not in English. And then you have to wait until the stuff gets to the forwarder, and you have to pay the forwarder to ship it to you. And it's just annoying. I love the site personally, but that is the gist of why I think it's not as user friendly as people may think it to be. It's certainly one of the most. God, this is really hard to say. It's both the most popular and least user friendly sites to buy anime merch from. Again, I know it sounds paradoxical, but it has some of the best merchandise that you can possibly find. It's like one of there's another one, but I'm not going to talk about it in this video. It's one of the sites that I would call a gold mine. Like, if you look hard enough, you can find crazy, great stuff at insane prices. They even tell you what the original price was and what they're offering it at, and you can compare, like, this is how much of a deal I'm getting in comparison to what it was originally worth. And I think that's pretty cool. I've ordered from there a couple times, but again, you have to use a forwarder or proxy. And, I'll kind of touch on what a forwarder and proxy are. A proxy is a site that if you want to buy something and you can't get it shipped directly to you, they will buy for you if you give them the details. Like, you tell them, hey, can you buy this X, Y, and Z for me? They will do that. And obviously there's going to be fees, extra fees, like a middleman fee. But that's what you would do. That's one example of what you want to do on a site like Suruga-Ya. They're usually used more on sites like Yahoo auctions, but again, I'm not going to get too far into that. And the other option is using a forwarder, like I said. And a forwarder is kind of like the polar opposite, I want to say. Like, whereas with a proxy, you tell them what to order for you. Forwarding is like they give you an address to some warehouse that they own, and you plug that in, of course, and then you order yourself. So it's like you're ordering something to your home, but it's to this warehouse address. Excuse me. And then once they get it, they ship it to you. So it's very similar to a proxy, but it's kind of on you to make sure things work. So Suruga-Ya can be used either way. Personally, I use a forwarder, but you can use a proxy. And the reason I like I said, Suruga so much is because there is so much rare stuff. There's a lot of out of print Dojin stuff that you can't find much of anywhere else. It's not just for retail stuff. It's for just anything that you're looking for that you can't find anywhere else. There's only a few other sites that you can do this on, and I'm not going to talk about those, like I said, again and again. But I've had a lot of luck with Suruga. I found some amazing items for some just incredible prices that blow my mind. The only issue is, like I said, the prices you have to pay for the middleman, the forwarder, or the proxy. And that sucks. That just sucks. I hate having to deal with that, but we're not in Japan. We don't have the same availability. We just don't. There's nowhere in the West that does. And that is kind of annoying as someone who does collect a lot, but when you are limited on resources, you have to go to the best places, even if it does cost you something. At least if you're a pretty prolific collector, like myself. But it's just obnoxious. But regardless of how obnoxious it is, yes, Suruga-Ya is one of the places that if someone tells me, hey, I'm trying to get way more to merch, can you recommend me a good place to shop? Suruga-Ya is one of the places I will 100% recommend. Even if it's kind of a more difficult place to get into because of the whole forwarding bullshit. But yeah, that's one of the places that, just to sum it up, it's got so much wonderful stuff. The prices are incredible. They usually do a pretty good job of keeping up with stock. Like, is it stock or is it not? And I love it. I absolutely love it. And I would shop there more often if the forwarding fees and shipping fees weren't so terrible. And it's not a knock, of course. I'm just saying, like, when you have to pay a local shipping fee and then a forward shipping fee, like an international one, that really hurts your wallet. That's kind of all I can say. Alright, I really need to close this video out. The file's getting too big. But, I hope this video was interesting as usual. And I will see you in the next episode. So signing out as your host, Keelloo. Thanks. Bye.